Irakin väkivaltaa on painanut jo yli 2 miljoonaa irakilaista ja määrä kasvaa jatkuvasti. EU-maista Ruotsi ottaa tällä hetkellä vastaan eniten Irakin pakolaisia, yli puolet kaikista.
Tulijoita on jo niin paljon, että monet ruotsalaiskunnat eivät enää pysty sijoittamaan heitä. Esimerkiksi Södertäljessä vapaita asuntoja ei enää ole.
Täällä Södertäljen Ronnassa asuu suurin osa kaupungin irakilaisista ja tänne maanmiestensä lähelle myös uudet pakolaiset haluavat asettua. Tällä hetkellä Ruotsiin tulee 100 uutta turvapaikanhakijaa joka päivä. Suurin osa on irakilaisia. Pakolaisista vastaava virasto perustaa kiireellä uusia vastaanottoyksiköitä. Pakolaismäärän arvioidaan kaksinkertaistuvan vielä tänä vuonna. Khalid Rakusi haki turvapaikkaa Ruotsista 3 kuukautta sitten. Muu perhe odottaa yhä Syyriassa, että isä saa asiat kuntoon. Asuntoa ei ole vielä löytynyt.
I live with my brother because my family they are stay in Syria. Maybe after 2 months, maybe 3 months, they'll come here.
Södertäljessä pakolaisten toimeentulosta ja asettumisesta vastaavalla Hans Karlssonilla alkavat keinot, rahat ja resurssit loppua. Nyt pelkästään irakilaisten määrä on 10-kertainen viime vuoteen verrattuna.
Det kan röra sig om 15 personer i en etta. Vi har kommit in i 3-rummare där det är fullt med madrasser på golvet. Man tränger ihop sig. Och det är ju ingen acceptabel situation att leva. Det är inte värdigt för människor att leva så.
Karlssonin mukaan valtion 3 vuoden tukiraha riittää 1,5 vuodeksi. Kaupungin kontolle jäävät loput ja vastuu asuntojen löytämisestä.
Det är 5 kommuner i Sverige som tar ett stort ansvar. Det är Malmö, Göteborg, Stockholm, Botkyrka och vi. Och som sagt per capita tar Södertälje emot flest. Och jag önskar ju att fler kommuner skulle ta emot.
Siinä missä Södertälje toivoo solidaarisuutta muilta ruotsalaiskunnilta, toivoo ministeri solidaarisuutta muilta EU-mailta.
Regeringen har inlett samtal med övriga medlemsstater i EU att vi måste dela på detta ansvar. Det vill säga det måste vara mer solidariskt mottagande för fler medlemsstater i EU.
It's a little-known fact that there were once some 800,000 Christians living quietly alongside Muslim neighbours in Iraq. Since the invasion, they found themselves the victims of vicious sectarian violence, and most have fled. For the many who've turned up in Turkey, mainly around Istanbul, life is hard. They have no official status, so it's impossible to find proper work, and there's no healthcare. Yet many in Europe don't seem to care. Looking in her photo album at pictures of better days is painful for Janet Davutoglu and her children. When her husband Sabri was still alive, they were a normal family in Baghdad. They'd even obtained a little bit of affluence. Owning a car was something special. And then in February 2005, Sabri Davutoglu was murdered on the way to the pharmacists.
He wanted to get medicine for his mother, who was ill. On the street, suddenly men came up to him. They said hello, and they shot him in the head.
Janet and the children eat the butcher's leftover scraps. They don't have enough money for anything better. Shortly after her husband's death, Janet Davutoglu fled to Turkey. Since then, she and her 8 children and her mother-in-law all live together in a cellar in Istanbul. Janet wants to move to Australia, but her application for a visa has been refused 3 times.
Here in Turkey, we are illegal, and we're barely tolerated. So my children can't attend school, and there's no assistance from the state. My eldest, a son, does occasional work, but he's paid more poorly than the Turkish workers, and sometimes not at all.
The Davutoglu family are Christians, like many Iraqi refugees in Istanbul. About 2,000 of them now live on the Bosporus, and more come every day. On Sundays they gather at the Catholic Church. Without this congregation, refugees like Janet Davutoglu would be completely lost. The Chaldean Church, which is united with Rome, is one of the oldest Christian communities in the world. At one time, 800,000 Christians lived in Iraq. Today, there are probably only a few tens of thousands. The Chaldean Christians were part of Iraq's middle and upper classes. Here they quarrel over bags of rice. The community is bitterly disappointed that Europe isn't giving more help.
Europe does nothing for these people. Nothing at all. The only straw they can grasp at is the hope of traveling to Canada or Australia to join some relatives or other. But Europe is providing even less help than Turkey is.
Not all the refugees are willing to wait for legal chances to emigrate. These young Iraqis tried to take unauthorized paths further west.
35 of us took a bus to the Greek border. There we waited in an abandoned building until it was dark, and then took rubber rafts across the river that marks the border. But the Greek police caught us and sent us back. It has happened to me 3 times. I want to go to Germany, where a relative of mine lives.
The Iraqi Christians live scattered across Istanbul's poorest districts. They live in shacks, in back courtyards and in storage rooms. Very few of them speak Turkish, and the Davutalyas are sometimes taunted in the street. Janet Davutalya wants to take her 8 girls and her boy somewhere where they can grow up without fear. She's long since given up hope that that somewhere will ever be Iraq.
When the Americans invaded Iraq and ousted Saddam, they promised us freedom, democracy, and a good life. But none of it has materialized. Instead, things are worse from one day to the next. 2 of my brothers were also killed. Our whole family has become victims of this war.
Even if Janet Davutalya can someday leave Turkey for the West, the images and trauma of the war will never fade.